to gain that paradise promised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I will conclude this final story about those people who have a journey towards paradise. About an individual, a young boy, because many of us, inshallah, are young, or at least young at heart. And we make mistakes. And many of us make great mistakes in our life. And one should not feel downtrodden. That paradise will be given to many individuals who have that journey. Abu Na'im fil Hilya narrates this story. Ibn al-Hajar fil Isaba. Ibn Hajar in his collection, or Ibn Hibban as well. About a young boy, less than the age of 16. Tha'laba ibn Abdul Rahman. This young boy was in the suhbah, in the companionship of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Would do whatever the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him to do. He used to sit with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One day, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent him to do a task, told him to do something. So Tha'laba begins to leave to carry out this task. As he's walking, he walks past some of the houses of Al-Ansar, the houses which belong in Medina and Al-Ansar. And a certain house catches his glance. He enters that house and he sees a thin veil, and he sees a woman bathing. All of a sudden the wind blows and the veil is lifted, and he sees this naked woman. He turns away and he said, what type of individual am I? Wretched I am. I've been sent by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to do an action, to do a task, and I'm looking at the owner. I'm looking at the wives of the companions. I'm looking at this. I'm a cursed individual. And he begins to weep and cry, and he goes missing. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is waiting for him. Says, Ya Umar, Ya Salman, where is Tha'laba? Go and find him. He said, perhaps he's coming back. Perhaps they heard that I need. Something has come in his way. He's going to do that. He will be here soon. Hours pass. Days pass. Tha'laba is not visible. He says once again, Ya Umar, Ya Salman, and Fulan, go and search for Tha'laba. Go and find him. Where is my companion? How come he's become missing? Still cannot find him. Until the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, go to the Sahara. Go to the desert and look in that area. So they begin to look at the remnants of travelers in the desert. A Bedouin spots them and sees that they're looking for someone. And he approaches them. He said, who are you looking for? He said, we're looking for a young boy of such and such description. Well, there is a young boy here who mildly just fit that description, but doesn't carry the description, the external description that you've described. He is in a disheveled state. 40 days this young boy has been here and has been weeping and crying. And the only thing we hear him asking is for the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Umar said, how can we find him? He said, at the time of Maghrib, he will come down from that valley and come down, we present to him some milk to drink. And he will drink it and he'll trail his garment and instead of weeping return back to where he is seeking forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Umar and Salman wait there. Wait for the time of Maghrib. And lo and behold, out comes this young individual with only his bare skin left, disheveled state, weeping and crying, dragging his feet, approaches the Bedouin for his bowl of milk. Does not notice that Umar and Salman are standing there. Begins to drink from the milk and begins to weep and cry. That some of the tears get mixed with the milk and he drinks it and pays no attention and begins to walk back following the same track and the same place that he came from. Till Umar and Salman, they grab him and he recognizes them. Because they describe him as al-Fatah al-Bukkar, the young individual who is crying and weeping. He said, what do you want? Have verses been revealed about me? Has my name been written amongst the hypocrites? They said, we have to take you back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, I'm not going back. He continues to argue with them. Umar and Salman take him forcefully back and place him inside his house. They inform the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam about his condition. He said, if you want, we can bring him to you. But instead, the Prophet Muhammad, being a person of noble character and behavior, goes to meet Tha'laba. As soon as he hears the voice of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he begins to highlight, have verses been narrated about me? Is my name amongst the hypocrites? Kalla, nay. Kalla, nay indeed. This was only a nazra, a glance. Bear that in mind. That is how Tha'laba, a boy who has not even reached the age of 16, how guilty he felt. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came close to him and placed his head upon his blessed leg or blessed thigh. Tha'laba moves his head away and says, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't place my sinful head on your blessed leg. It's not befitting. I'm an individual who is sinful, and begins to increase in weeping. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says to him, what do you want? He goes, I want the mercy of Allah. What do you fear? I fear the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what this young individual was fearing. One minor mistake, that is the way he felt. That everything has been broken in front of him. Tha'laba says, Ya Rasulullah, I feel the footsteps of an ant walking or knocking on my body. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, that is the footsteps of death, Ya Tha'laba. You are about to taste death. So he encourages him to make the shahada. Tha'laba, from being that sinful individual, has now become a person who says the shahada. Whoever dies saying the shahada, dakhal al-jannah, will enter into paradise. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam washes him with his own blessed hand, shrouds him, and walks behind the funeral procession. And then you find that the Prophet Muhammad begins to walk on his toes, as if there's no place. Umar says, what is the matter with you, Ya Rasulullah? The place is spacious. Why are you walking on your toes? Why are you walking in this manner? When we've given you ample space, you're amongst us, you're the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why are you behaving in this manner? He said, there is no space. There is no space for me to walk. The reason why I'm walking on my toes, because I'm being pushed by the angels that are around me, who are rushing to join the funeral procession of Tha'laba. Bear that in mind. In front of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is al-mushtaquna ila Jannah. That is the quest for paradise that many of us have forgotten. To rectify our belief, to rectify our contact with the Sunnah. Even the trivial things that people discuss at the moment to lower your gaze has been touched upon tonight. To preserve yourself, to preserve your family. That is the yearning desire that needs to be ignited once again inside every single believer. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to list us amongst those people who are al-mushtaquna ila Jannah. Who have a yearning desire to make it to paradise. And to place these words in a mizan of hasanat, in our scales of good deeds. The person disseminating these words, and all of you respected brothers and sisters who have taken these words on board and become greater strivers than ourselves to make it to Al-Jannah al-Firdaus. وأقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولجميع المسلمين فاستغفروه.